Hi, Robbie here from AFTV. Big win for Arsenal yesterday at Everton. You know what I mean? Massive away win. Listen, it wasn't vintage Arsenal by any means. We got the 1-0 win, penalty by Victor Gyökeres. Good to see him get that penalty. And listen, to be fair, we could have scored more. We should have scored more. You know what I mean? It should have been more than 1-0. Probably should have been at least 2-0 in the game. But the main thing about it was we got the 3 points, top of the league at Christmas. That's nice, but that doesn't mean nothing unless you go on and actually win the thing. But listen, I think we deserve to be top at Christmas because, you know, we have been good this season, even though we haven't been at our best in the last few games. And it was very important to get back to winning ways on the road. You know what I mean? Last 3 away games, lost at Villa, drew at Sunderland, drew at Chelsea. So it was really important to get back to winning ways. And I was really happy about that. So big up to the team. And big up to all the supporters that came up there in their numbers, Arsenal fans. But what I wanted to address in this video was really controversial chanting that was going on in the game from Arsenal fans. Now, my friend called me this morning and goes, Robbie, what was that all about? What sort of controversy? What went on? I know you was at the game. What was it? Now, it was a chant that Arsenal fans were singing to the Everton fans. And I'm going to say what the chant was, just though to give it context, because I know there'll be a lot of you jumping in here and saying, what was the chant? What was the chant? The chant was, feed the Scousers, let them know it's Christmas time, right? I think it's a chant that was started by Man United fans singing at Liverpool fans. Obviously, Everton fans are from Liverpool as well, but Arsenal fans were singing it. And when Arsenal fans were singing it in the game, and let me just say, I weren't singing it, although I'm an Arsenal fan and I was there with the Arsenal fans. So I'm not trying to say I'm holier than thou and I'm better than any fan that was there. I just want to address this. But when some of our fans were singing it, it weren't all of our fans, but some of our fans were singing it, you could see the Everton fans were really unhappy about it. Something really unusual that you see at football is that they were booing the chant. The Everton fans were booing the chant. And that's not something you normally see. Normally, you sing a chant about, you chant about, say, an opposition fan. They'll typically come back with their chant in the, your support is effing thing we'll sing at, say, fans. They'll come back and sing something back and it will go back and forth. And it's something we do in the UK that I love. It's very unique to football fans in the UK, in that we'll have chants and we'll go back and forth. It's not sort of like in Europe where it's all more choreographed. Over here, fans will come up with spontaneous chants. They'll go back and forth. But this one didn't bring that response from the Everton fans. What happened is they started booing and they were very angry. And then after the game, when we were doing interviews and that, a lot of their fans were coming up to me and they were angry. They were angry. They were saying, why are Arsenal fans singing that? We didn't think Arsenal fans were like that. And to be fair, we normally have a decent relationship with Everton fans. I like their fans, but they weren't happy. They weren't happy. And it weren't just because they lost the game. It was they didn't like this chant. And there'd be a lot of you guys out there saying, well, what's the problem? I mean, gosh, I've heard worse chants than that. And that is true. You probably have heard chants that seem worse than this. But let me just give you a little bit of origins, right, of why people from Liverpool, and then when I say people from Liverpool, that's Liverpool fans, Everton fans equals Scousers, don't like this chant. And chants like this is that back in the day, when I used to go to football, these used to be similar chants used to be sung at fans from Liverpool and Everton about the city of Liverpool, and people who lived there. That it used to be this misconception that, it's a poverty-stricken city, that nobody up there works. Everybody's on at the time they called it the dole, nobody, and there used to be a lot of derogatory chants sung about people from Liverpool by other fans with regards to that. Liverpool is not a poverty-stricken city, especially not now. It's a very progressive city. It's a great city. You know, if you ever go out there, there's a lot to do up there. There's a lot going on. I mean, you only got to go to Everton Stadium. What an unbelievable stadium that is. Anfield's an unbelievable stadium. It's a football heartbeat. But people from Liverpool, Scousers as they're labelled, are very, very proud people. And they don't like this chant. They feel like they're being belittled. They feel like we're talking to them like as if they're a bit scummy. And that is why we saw that response from the Everton fans booing, and Everton fans really, really unhappy about the chant. And what I'd say to the Arsenal fans, because there were a lot of Arsenal fans singing that probably were unawares, maybe at first. I think once you hear the fans booing that, you should have just stopped. But I'd say to Arsenal fans in the future, we shouldn't chant this. Listen, I'm not the chanting police where I'm trying to stop people from, you know, because as I said, I mean, when we play Tottenham, there are some bad chants being bandied about, right? Back and forth. And it's all part of the sort of banter. And I'm not trying to kill the banter, but I think if you are doing a chant and it's obvious that this is going down terribly with the opposition fans, that they're booing it, that they find it deeply, deeply offensive, then I feel that, you know, you cross the line on that chant, maybe rein it back and don't do it. That's my thoughts on it. And I like Scousers, man. I like Scousers. I like Liverpool as a city. I like the fact that their fans, whether Liverpool or Everton, they stand together on some things. They're very proud people. They're very proud people, and I like that about them. I like that about them as a city. And so I want to keep it, when it comes to like Arsenal fans and Everton fans and Liverpool fans, I want to keep it football. It shouldn't be about, you know, doing something really offensive like this that really, you know, they don't like, because, you know, they feel that you're really being derogatory to people who come from that city. So that's just my 2 pence on it. I don't know, you know, I really want to find out from you guys in the comments how you feel about it. I know that there'll be many people saying, well, listen, man, we'll look at some of the chants that are chanted about Arsenal fans. Look at some of the things Tottenham sing about us. But the difference is, we're not booing that. We're not taking it deeply offensive, some of those chants. We're just firing back because it's all part of our rivalry. And this one, you saw the reaction of their fans. They didn't like it. They didn't take it as banter. There's that chant. There's other chants that are sung about, you know, sign on and all. I just feel that if we're crossing the line on these things, you know, we got to be careful. So that was just my thoughts on it. But at the end of the day, in football terms, as Ty would say, we got the job done. We won the game. That was a big win for Arsenal. Let's roll on to the next game, which is Crystal Palace on Tuesday, Carabao Cup, chance to get into a semi-final. Let's see if we can do that. And yeah, big up to all the Arsenal fans. You know what I mean? They were out there in their numbers yesterday. You know, it's just before Christmas. It's a long way to go, and the away end was packed. And by the way, lovely stadium as well. Listen, Merry Christmas to everybody, man. Have yourself a great Christmas. Have fun. But that chant, and maybe this is to some of the other fans who might play Everton and that, they don't like it. So let's leave it.